All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Give people some time to get on here.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see. If you want to, did you get the link to share the link to the video?
Yeah, I did. I think I did get it.
Okay. I'm going to share really quick before we get started. All right.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is your girl, Liza Supreme from Durham, North Carolina, the founder of the pinkdiaryproject.com. All right. And today I have with me someone very special. Oh my gosh. When I saw her, she stood out to me. Oh my goodness. She is such a leader. She is a woman of great quality. She has so much content that all women need to see immediately. I'm telling you, I wish my grandma was here today to see this one. She needs to see this one. But anyway, without further ado, let me introduce Miss Celeste London, a native of, are you a native of the States or Canada?
Well, I'm Canadian. I
Okay.
reside in Ontario, Canada. Yes.
Oh my goodness, a native of Canada. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's so interesting to me because I lived in California, Miss
Okay.
Celeste, and I had the opportunity to go to Canada with a high school friend, and my aunt would not let me go.
Oh no.
How is it there?
Well, it's nice. Canadians are, we have the A word at the end of everything. A, you're Canadian A, you know what I mean? That's what the Americans know us for.
Hmm.
And it's a nice place, you know what I mean? In terms of politics, things like that, which I don't like to really dive into, but
Hmm.
it's a nice place to be. It's very peaceful. You know, Generally, I'm very happy to call myself a Canadian, and it's very multicultural here, especially in Toronto. So anybody from anywhere that's in any part of the world is here.
Oh my goodness.
So
Is
if
it
you want to go to,
cold?
it's cold, yes.
Oh my
Toronto
goodness.
is not too bad when it comes to winter, but
Hmm.
in certain other regions and certain other provinces like Alberta, Saskatchewan, they get snow above the door. So when
Hmm.
you're going out of your door, the snow is falling on your face because that's how much it snows in these regions, right?
And you still have to go to work and school and everything.
Yeah,
They don't
I
shut
don't
it
know.
down.
They don't shut
Listen.
anything down. No, people still manage to get by and do whatever it is they need to do. But the snow is extreme in these different provinces. Toronto will might get a big snow day, and then people are trying to get through the snow, trying to drive. But then the next day, it's like back to normal, and you have the snow on the ground, and you're driving on the road again. It's all good, right?
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
Toronto, we're kind of lucky for that.
Oh yeah, we don't
Yeah.
have snow tires here, I assume. So the first alert
Oh,
to that we're gonna get snow in North Carolina, they're shutting everything down.
oh wow.
I know, right? But
Yeah.
okay, let's get right to it. So today, our
Hmm.
topic for today, the effects of narcissism on the hormones, guys. Celeste,
Oh.
would you like to give us a little bit of information on your background first, like what it is that you
Mm.
do?
So my background is I spent more than 12 years studying holistic health nutrition. And then after that, furthered my studies to become a certified natural medicine practitioner, which you have to have a license, which I'm licensed in Canada. I have that license. And so what that means is academically, I'm allowed to use food medicine because of specializing in that for health issues.
Mm,
So after diving into that, I had an opportunity within company where I actually got a chance to work as a holistic nutritionist.
mm-hmm,
And most of the time, what I was doing, I didn't know it at the time on company property. But a
mm-hmm.
lot of females came back to me and told me the response I was getting was, "Thank you for balancing my hormones." So that's what I was getting. Thank you. It was like a broken record. Thank you for balancing my hormones.
Wow.
These are very short consultations that you do. You're not allowed to have an extended amount of relationship that you're allowed to build with the clients because you're on a company's property.
Mm,
But then just before COVID-19, that contract and relationship came to an end. It did break my heart a lot because
Mhm.
I was working in a job that's part of my passion. And not the people have that opportunity. So what I did was I went online and everybody was in the quarantine and I started
Mhm.
showing up and doing Facebook lives and I would get a phone call just from
Mhm.
doing a live video of people saying, please continue to talk about this.
Mhm.
Please, we really need this. Reaching out to me like that saying, thank you so much. I just had an organization reach me about a week ago, say to me, I was online looking for a hormone nutritionist. I didn't know how valuable and needed it really was
Mhm.
because I have a niche and it happened to be helping females with balancing their hormones. So I am starting to realize that this little situation that kind of had a roller coaster all in one turned
Mhm.
into a business where people are telling me we need this.
Mm. Now, I know a lot of people don't pay attention to their hormones, especially women, until they get to the age where they, hit menopause. That's when it's important to them.
Yes,
But when would you say people need to pay, or women should pay attention to their hormones?
way before menopause time. And the reason for that is because when you reach menopause, the two female hormone, which is estrogen and progesterone, it
Mm-hmm.
drastically drops and decreases. The human body has to have 60 or 70% of water. So when you stand up, 60% of you inside of you is water. That's why we have so much blood. That's why when we bleed, we have blood coming out because that's the water mixed with
Mm-hmm.
the blood. So when you're in menopause and that is decreasing,
Mm.
however you have dealt with your health throughout that journey in life, all piles up on your body.
Wow.
So look at health in a way where if you can start to look at your body as a female, that you can actually do prevention menopause, where you
Mm.
can set yourself up to start practicing certain mindful ways of eating before menopause, then
Mm-hmm.
you can avoid certain health issues during menopause and flow through menopause much easier.
Wow. So it just hit me. I didn't really understand menopause until just then. So the body loses water.
Hmm.
I mean, it makes sense. Is it
Yeah.
when they stop having cycles, or when we stop having cycles, right? So that
Oh,
makes sense. Your body
yes.
is losing water, which is pretty
Yeah.
much needed.
Yeah.
So now the hormones are out of whack.
Yes.
Wow. That
Hmm.
is so interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the road is people are on the road.
That's okay.
Man, so what would be so would you say, like, in your 20s,
Hmm.
what could be something that you pay attention to as far.
In your 20s, I would pay attention to because in your 20s, you're still might be developing in certain ways. Everybody develops differently. And so in your 20s, you might pay attention to you get away with certain type of junk food eating. I did that in my 20s. I'm in my 40s now. But you can pay attention to always focus on maybe a 70-30 way. So 70% eating really good quality and 30% you're like all week long you're eating okay and on the weekend you can kind of like party eat, right? Because as human beings we have a habit. Or let's say maybe one day you binge eat where you went to a party and you had a cake and icing and stuff. You can do a detox the next day, right?
Mhm.
You just have to remind yourself that I'm a human being. I'm allowed to enjoy food. I'm allowed to have the things that, are not the best for me. And I don't believe in being rigid because what happens when you're rigid and you're really 20 years old, you're rigid already.
Mhm.
Right?
Absolutely.
So like if you practice rigid protocols of eating, like some nutritionists, they don't recommend ice cream. I recommend ice cream, but I look at the ingredients and I look at the different types of brands that are out there because now we live in a world where we have something called accessibility. If you're in Canada or America or even Europe, depends on where you are in the world. And I let people know and I teach them about labels and stuff like that, how you
Mm.
can enjoy things and
Mhm.
have that dessert and have those cookies and cake or what have you. Because if you
Mhm.
deprive yourself as a human being, what ends up happening is you binge eat.
Yes.
right? Because you deprive yourself. I want to eat healthy. You want to eat, and then all of a sudden the
Mhm.
body's like it bursts like a balloon. And when
Yes.
you burst like a balloon, you just ah.
Yes.
And so, why not go through a pace in life where, you know what, there are ways to fix foods. And one thing that I specialize in is I focus very much on the cultural dynamic of the person.
Mhm.
Don't take away the way the person culturally eats. If you
Yes.
take away the way a person culturally eats, then you've lost them because then you're telling me I'm not a rabbit. I'm a human being. I can't eat like a rabbit. Rabbits eat what rabbits eat. And if you want me to eat rabbit food, then that's not going to work for me. So, what I like
Mhm.
to do is I like to focus on where do you culturally come from? What is your origin or region where you come from? What you normally eat? What does your
Mhm.
menu plan and what are the things that you guys normally eat? Here's how
Mhm.
we can fix it up holistically.
Yes, absolutely. Well, let's get
Mm-hmm,
right into it. So, of course, this organization is for helping up and rising survivors of
mm-hmm,
domestic violence. Um,
mm-hmm,
and we want to give them the tools that they need to focus on for their survival or for their future when they come out of it or they're trying to get out of it. And
mm-hmm,
I think you have something very special. You
mm-hmm.
titled this "The Effects of Narcissism on
Yes,
Hormones." Okay,
yes.
now, what is how would you define narcissism?
Very good question. So, narcissism is a person that is they're very smart in attracting people, mates, whatever, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever. They specialize or they're very good at attracting people who have a kind-hearted kind of spirit, kind-hearted kind of character. So in the beginning stage, you would not recognize a person as a narcissist because they come across like you, the kind, caring kind of person, and you think that you're in an equal partnership.
Mm-hmm.
But what happens throughout the journey with a narcissist is they start to unravel the masks of who they truly are.
Mm-hmm.
And they put for some women, they might be in a situation where they've moved in together, they've
Mm-hmm.
married the person, you have a
Mm-hmm.
child together. And so what they do is they use the weapons of getting close to you
Mm.
and being in an intimate relation with you to trap you, to hold you down for the rest of your life. So once you've come into contact with a narcissist, their philosophy is I'm in your life now, you can't escape me.
Mm. Mm.
It's
Mm.
very demonic what they do. And I'm really choosing very wisely how I'm sharing what a narcissist is because
Yes.
it's a demon that never wants to leave your
Mm. Mm. Mm.
life.
Now, I've read a little bit about it.
Hmm.
Um, people, it's I don't know if it's hard to recognize it because a lot of people grow up with narcissistic
Yes.
parents.
Hmm.
And so they either become used to this type of behavior, or like you say, before you know it, it's too late. You already sucked in, you
Yeah.
know. Um, so let's go ahead and do you want to share your experience with
Yeah,
maybe a
sure.
narcissist?
I've been abused of narcissistic abuse. I've been in a situation where he called CAS on me to get to show them that I'm not a fit parent. I've been in situations where I was stalked. I have a situation where I set up protocols from the Supreme Court of Ontario in Canada here, where they're not allowed to be in the same presence with me with our child. And he still chose to come. And the child had to witness me holding him in my hand and was telling me, "You have my child," like kind of bully stalking me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I put up a lot of boundaries, and thank God for my lawyer and people of authorities who have my support.
Mm-hmm.
That's an extreme thing that I've experienced having a narcissist in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've learned to educate myself and do, because there were points where I wasn't able to get up from my own bed, even though I'm a health practitioner. A narcissist is very good at eating away at your emotions and your self esteem. That's what they focus on. So the reason why they want to stay in your life is let's say somebody doesn't have a child, but maybe they have a home. So they might focus on, like this one lady, a client of mine, what her husband did, she got out of the marriage, but now what he did to her, because they were married for a certain amount of time, all of her pension, when she reaches that stage in her life, he's going to get all of her pension.
Mm,
So I really, narcissism is not something you can recognize, and there are ways for you to get sanity because
mm,
narcissistic abuse makes you feel like you're going insane, like you're losing
mm,
your mind. Okay,
mm,
and you have to seek counseling. I've sought counseling and therapy.
mm-hmm.
I've had days where my children had to hold me and say, "Mom, are you okay? Is everything is going to be fine?" So I did narcissistic therapy and then I educated myself, of course, a lot of prayers, because their
Yes.
whole agenda is to make you lose your mind so that you probably end up not even wanting to live.
Oh
It's
my goodness.
extreme, yeah, it's an extreme form of me. And this is my own definition based on the experience that I have gone through. That's why I'm sharing the definition because there's different ways to define it. There are mild cases, but there are extreme cases. And the one I shared with you with a lady is she's not going to be able to enjoy her pension. So when she reaches that stage in her life, she has to work to get some money into her life because her pension, she's not going to be able to use it for her own living because he's going to get it.
Lord knows. Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah.
And it brings me to people, like we said before, living with narcissistic parents in their household. Domestic violence doesn't always occur with a spouse or someone you're with. It could be a family member, a
Mhm.
friend that you're, living with or whatever. The sad thing is that, it's like attention seekers, maybe bloodsuckers.
It I guess you could, cause I guess you could call it a very demonic way of blood sucking your life. So the way that a narcissist goes after, they literally want to find a way. Once they, it's like catching a fish, and once you catch the fish, you get to eat. So their whole relationship with you is based on, I will find anything by all means necessary to make you go crazy and insane. That's their philosophy. They have no empathy. When something is
No
hurt or
empathy.
feeling bad, they don't have empathy because the childhood conditioning of a person who is a narcissist, they came from extreme emotional abuse, verbal abuse. They grew up in a very extreme, highly contagious, dysfunctional household, right? They grew up in a household where there wasn't any freedom of expression. So they act out that childhood, I guess you can call it trauma, childhood trauma within their intimate relationships with their family members, with their kids, or with their spouse, girlfriend, or boyfriend, or what have you.
Mm, 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 mm. And I'm trying to figure out whether they do these things. Do you feel like it's intentional?
They're not aware of the fact that they have no empathy. They're not able to acknowledge and have the awareness because they don't have feelings.
Mm-hmm.
They go out into the world with high esteem. When you meet them, you see that they speak very intelligent, but they speak in a way of authority because inside they are people who have the lowest self-esteem. And I mean self-esteem that's at the bottom of the ground. For example,
Absolutely.
in my situation, he keeps saying I'm an educator. He keeps saying how much degrees he has, how much education he has. They have to keep pumping themselves up to make themselves feel like they're powerful or that they're good. But really, inside, what a narcissist really, really is like a little child or girl inside of that body that's having a 2-year-old tantrum for the rest of their life.
Such a shame. Such a shame. I like to call them vampires, okay? Because by the time you
Go right
finish with a
ahead.
narcissist, all of your energy is gone.
Yeah.
you have you have no energy for yourself, which ties right into the hormone thing. I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about it,
Mhm.
we talked about the hormones in women going through menopause. They're losing water, they're
Yeah.
losing blood.
Mhm.
For a narcissist in your life, as a
Mhm.
like sucking your blood away, you're
Mhm.
losing, you know, water.
Yes,
I was,
exactly. So, for women who are not close to menopause, or any female who's gone through narcissistic abuse or been a victim of narcissistic abuse or come out of it, um, we have our endocrine system. And according to holistic teaching, the endocrine system is responsible for appetite, mood, sleep. All these things are connected to our endocrine system, which is responsible for 50 different hormones inside of the human body.
mm,
And so when somebody is chipping away at your self esteem, it has a messaging that is sent to the organs in our bodies because as females, we are incubators. And an incubator is something that receives. So whenever you receive something, we multiply it. And so
mm,
that's why, based on my research, I put what are the effects of narcissists on the hormones. It puts your hormones out of balance because number one, the messaging that is sent to you is you're not worth it.
mm,
You're worth me tearing you down and ripping you apart by all means necessary.
mm,
And
mm,
that kind of messaging for a human being is like, it's almost like putting you in a jail cell without physically being in a jail. You're
mm,
trapped.
mm,
And when you are
mm,
trapped, where do you go if you feel like you're in a relationship that you might have left, but you're still leaving with the after effects of the verbal and psychological messaging that was projected onto you based on their own low self worth, because they're people with extreme, with a capital E, low self worth. And you're now taking on that messaging, and you now have to reverse psychology and reverse your subconscious mind program from that relationship if you're out of it.
Did you say you're having to like reverse psychology just
You
to?
have to, it's called reverse subconscious mind programming. So with the subconscious mind programming, messages are sent to us since we were children. And when we get into adulthood, and relationships are also messages that you receive. If somebody was a complimentary person in your life, you're beautiful, you're good, I'm cheering for you. These are positive messages that the cells in the body are receiving. A narcissist doesn't provide you with positive messages that your cells are feeding on. Your cells are eating away and chipping away inside of your body based on the narcissistic mentality that's in your life. So then it goes directly to disrupt your sleep, disrupt your mood, disrupt your appetite.
Mm,
So for
mm,
some
mm,
women, depending on the stress that they're going through, they might be slim all their life, but all of a sudden they're obese because they're numbing themselves to try and find a way to not have to deal with this narcissistic abuse, even though they're out of the relationship. For
mm,
somebody, they might become anorexic because they're trying to deal with the narcissistic abuse because they are living the legacy of the nasty and dirty messages that was sent to them.
mm,
And so they need extreme and intense therapy. I had to seek intense therapy for the messages that I received.
mm, mm, mm,
And so I've now learned how to focus and channel my life and how to block away and not think about that experience in my life and focus on what I need to focus on, which is helping my clients, being a mother, etc., etc. I finally say I can free myself from the legacy of the messages that they played because they want to chip away and eat at you through the words. Because emotional abuse and psychological abuse, the way that a person acts when they are in public or where they're in a scene in public around you, has a serious impact on a female, I would say, on anybody, more
mm.
than physical abuse. Because physical abuse, you hit and you're gone. But that impact is left with you throughout your life. And it leaves a lasting impact on your cells. And now you have to do reverse subconscious mind programming just from that experience in your life alone.
Wow. Wow. Almost like a survival mechanism
Yeah.
if you're stuck in that. Dr. Brooke is on the line and she says, so what type of therapy is available for people that are dealing with that? So dealing with a narcissistic partner, Dr. Brooke, um a narcissist themselves, because we already know there's no cure.
Okay, so are you asking for the person who is the narcissist, what kind of a therapy is available for them,
I
or the
think.
person who experienced the narcissistic abuse? Which one?
Let's go into the narcissist because she didn't say
Okay,
it.
so for the person who,
Themselves,
so
the
the
narcissist.
narcissists themselves, the only way that a narcissist can heal from narcissistic personality disorder is they have to be aware that something is extremely wrong with them. If they don't have the awareness first, the awareness, you look at your life and you're like, I think I put on some weight. I know I used to be this, but I feel like I know I've put on some weight. You acknowledge with yourself first that you have an issue with your health. They have to recognize with themselves first, I think I have a problem. Once they own up to the idea that I think I have a problem,
Mm-hmm.
then we can start with the solution. But for
Absolutely.
many, unfortunately, for many narcissists, it is almost like, I'm sorry to say it, 1% of them recognize or have the awareness that something is wrong with them. So then, what is the next protocol for the person who has a narcissist in their life and maybe there's a child in between and you can't get away from them until the child is 18 years old? So then you have to seek therapy, and there is neurolinguistic programming therapy. There is emotional freedom. There's different types of therapies that I can share on. I did all kinds of therapy, you name it.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
there's not a therapy I didn't do.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you want to find out more, this is a very touchy subject for me and passionate subject for me because
Yes.
I've lived this experience. I'm not talking about something that is just I went and read a book and I'm sharing the experience of what I read in the book. I've lived this experience in my life myself.
I think a lot of us have and are. Um, I'm worried about the narcissists who are aware but
Mhm.
don't believe in getting help.
So if you have so let's okay, do you want to focus on a woman who's living in a relationship with a narcissist, or do you want to focus on a woman who came out of it? Which one do
Let
you want?
let's How about living? Because they need to know how to get out of this. They need to be aware that they're in it and how to get out of it and the effects that it's going to have on them, especially with the hormones.
Okay, so if a woman is living with a narcissist, I like to focus on females because I only specialize in helping females. So if a woman is living with a narcissist and she recognizes and she has the awareness through her research, reading and stuff, you know what? I'm living with a narcissist. First, she has to recognize she's living with a narcissist. Then she has to like what okay, so what I'll share is this. So let's say you're living with a narcissist and you both have a bank account.
Mm,
I would find a way for him to remove him out of the bank account. Don't
mm,
share, don't, in other words, find ways while you're in the marriage without him knowing that if you have a bank account and there's a way without him knowing that you're removing him from your shared bank account, remove that because he's going to come after you financially. 100%, a
100.
narcissist is going to come after you financially.
Mm,
So,
mm,
whatever
mm,
you can do to remove any attachment that you have together as a couple financially, do that. 100%. That's the first thing.
mhm.
The second thing I would suggest is you find a lawyer who has a specialty on narcissistic abuse because if you've been married, I don't know what the laws are in the USA, but if you've been married for more than 20 years, a person can get something called spousal support or these different things.
Yes.
And let's say you're a woman who worked all your life. Like, for example, the lady I'm sharing you, my client, she had a situation where she had the down payment for the house, but they lived together as a couple. So because she put his name in the mortgage, he's able to claim that he wants half the house. She wants to sell the house, but he fought her and said he wants half the house.
Mm,
So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're in a marriage and you have everything shared together, find out what you can take out of that you don't need to share anymore.
mm. Well,
And
you know,
number
my grandma
two,
always She said, make sure you have something on the side anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, you need to always have emergency reserve money,
Mm-hmm.
cash on hand, and a separate bank account. Do
Mm-hmm.
not, I think the abuse really has an effect on us if we do not um take advantage of our own independence and keep
Yes.
that. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to put everything together. You
Yes.
know, you have your own, I have my own, and we have what we
Exactly.
have together.
Right. So I think that
Absolutely.
for women who are a housewife living with a narcissist, get a job.
Oh, get a job.
Get a job. I mean, like yesterday, ASAP. Get a
Yes,
job. Okay.
yes.
I was in a situation where I knew, I don't know, I guess you would call it emotional abuse, but I lived an experience in life where I made sure I got a job, and when I got a job, I left.
Mm.
Okay. But you see, everybody is different. Some people need tools to see what they're going through and then realize that they're in a bad situation and then find an escape. So if you are a woman, like I said, I know we're repeating ourselves. If you are relying on the narcissist financially, then get financially independent.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about. You know,
Yes.
you gotta have your own.
Hmm.
Because I mean, you will surely see, push come to shove,
Hmm.
that having money is
Hmm.
your greatest tool to
As a woman,
survival.
especially. As a woman, especially, because it
Hmm.
empowers you, you're able to do things, it frees you, it does many different things. So for females, you need to wake up.
Oh
And
yeah,
you never know, a person can turn at you at any time.
absolutely. Now, do you feel like you covered the two the effects of narcissism on the
Hmm.
hormones? What is it you
Oh,
want the people to know?
well, I would like to touch on the chakras because the chakras are connected to our endocrine system. And the chakras are energy centers that are in the human body. You have the base chakra, which is red. You have the sacral chakra all the way to the throat chakra, which is blue. You have the indigo, which is the crown. So why am I talking about chakras? I'm talking about chakras because they're connected to our endocrine system, which is our hormones. And based on a narcissistic abuse, whether you're living in one or you're come out of one,
Mm-hmm.
all these emotional centers, energy centers in our body get blocked
Mm-hmm.
because of the messaging that was placed on us through the narcissistic abuse or somebody living in a narcissistic abuse. So what I want to leave with is um, the effects that your chakras are going to have is you will be left feeling depleted, feeling like if you've left an abusive situation, maybe you're not able to survive because the base chakra is about survival mode. Your throat chakra might be like maybe you have sore throats a lot or something like that. Because in a narcissistic abuse relationship, it's about authority and you listen to me and obey. There's no unity of mutuality. It's more, I'm authority, I'm up here, you're down there, listen to me and obey kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So be aware that the endocrine system is completely depleted 100%, and that you have a way of helping yourself to slowly heal and go through the baby steps through intense therapy. And definitely for nutrition, which is my specialty, there is a
Mm-hmm.
way to feed the human body through narcissistic abuse while they
Mm-hmm.
also seek therapy. So that's the
Mm-hmm.
two things that I want to touch on. You need to combine the therapy and the food protocol, how to eat after coming out of a narcissistic abuse relationship.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, from if people want more information, first, let's go back to the chakras because a lot of people never heard of it.
Yeah,
And just for today, for whoever watches the show, we'll start with where to start with this thing, where to get grounded as it
yeah,
relates to the chakras. Let's talk about the root chakra to give people something to work
yes.
towards.
So for the root chakra, it's all about survival. So if you are in a situation where you're left, you need to seek your own independence, then that's the survival that you need to focus on. You need to find a situation that makes you feel secure. And the reason why it's important to touch on the root chakra, I mean the base chakra, which is red in color, is because they narcissist doesn't make you feel secure But depending on the nature of the relationship, no matter how insecure the relationship feels, you still feel trapped that you can't leave.
Mm,
And there's another way, it's called entrapment. So when
mm,
you choose to leave a narcissistic relationship, you still feel emotionally trapped because of the messages that they left on you. It's sort of like hanging a dirty towel in a closet, and you know that it needs to get washed, but you're still choosing to hang the dirty closet in the dirty towel in the closet.
mm, mm,
That's
mm,
the after effect of coming out of a narcissistic abusive relationship.
mm. Wow. Wow. So guys, you want to get grounded. You want to start focusing on yourself,
Yeah,
finding yourself, and a one way to begin is get a
support group.
job.
Yeah, for sure. If you're in a narcissistic relationship and you're depending on that person, get a job.
Mhm.
Make sure you get a team of supporters who you trust to know that you're going through this experience,
Mhm.
and make sure you have some support, because when you choose to come out of that relationship, you're going to need some support. And another thing I want to touch on is, if the narcissist and you share the same friends, get new friends.
Mhm.
Don't
Mhm.
go to those friends that he knows about, because narcissists are so smart. I'll share with you something because I want other women to know about this. This is
Absolutely.
something that a narcissist in my life knows about. Thank God we didn't have the same friends. But he told me something that made me shiver.
Mm.
He said, I have friends, but each of those friends don't know that I am their friend. So you and I are in each other's life, and I go into the Facebook group and I know Lisa, I know Stacy, and we all know what each other does. And we hang out together, we go out together, we go on girl nights and stuff like that, right? Because we know we have the same unit of friends. But what a narcissist does is, because it's a kind of snaky way, I don't even know the right word to use. They know their friends, but each of those friends don't know that they know him, or that okay, so I tried to organize something where I thought for a birthday or something like that. And I called each of the friends. And each of those friends spoke to me and they said they don't know who his friends are.
Mhm.
So they have a very secret life, is what I'm trying to say. They have a
Yes.
very secret kind of life that you
Oh
really
yes.
don't know about them. They have an outer appearance that they show to the world, but
Yep.
inside of their own closet, there's a lot of cobwebs.
Absolutely. You got that right. This is a this is a topic that I don't even think could be handled in an hour, because
No,
I'm
sorry.
sure that
Yeah.
there are some female narcissists as well.
Yes.
And you're talking about hormones. What if you run into a client who's a narcissist herself?
Well, for me, I've been lucky and fortunate to not have attracted a client that's a narcissist. But if you come across a client that's a narcissist as a business owner, I would say that that is a lesson that you had to go through to fix your contracts that you get your clients to sign. Because in the journey of life, we're always evolving and growing. And it depends on the information and what the person signed up. And hopefully, they signed some sort of a contract with you to begin with. If there's no contract, then that's really very scary.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
I would just say you gotta pray.
Yeah. But I know we talked and we said we don't like to deal with the sad stuff. What
Yeah.
is good with Celeste London?
So what is good with me is, I recently got hired by a highly quality health practitioner that's hired me to be the hormone nutritionist for the females in his clinic. So
Mm,
that's what I'm focusing on. So I'm the go-to nutritionist for his clinic, which is really nice. I really feel really blessed to have that happen to me. And I'm presently in the process of putting together a workshop on different aspects of hormones, so weight loss, menopause, thinning hair, all things to do with hormones and hormonal imbalance and how we can overcome our health with hormonal imbalances. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm focusing on that. Um, Another thing that I want to share that doesn't have anything to do with holistic health, but I am known as the Nut Milk Lady in Toronto, Canada here. So I have a product that I've put together that I created called the nutmilklady.com. Anybody can check out that website. That's already up. And what I do is I make fresh nut and seed milk for people. But I haven't,
Yes.
I'm slowly working on how to get it across to the USA because, Canada has a lot of regulations. So I have to
Yes.
go through that protocol first. So that's something
Yes.
exciting that it's been a 1 year anniversary for me. And COVID
Mm-hmm.
19 really exploded my business, the Nut Milk Lady.
Mm.
So
Oh
sometimes
man.
walk somewhere, people
Yes.
like, you're the Nut Milk Lady. I say, how do you know me?
Yes. I
I
know.
saw you on Facebook.
I looked you up. I was like, wow, that's interesting. I wish you could put it in powder form so we can get some over here.
Yeah, I'm working on
Yeah,
that.
because
Yeah.
I know it's good for the skin. I
Yeah.
cannot drink cow's milk.
Wow.
I just can't do it. I don't know how people do it.
Yes.
I just can't. you know. I didn't even give my daughter
Mm.
cow's milk. She drank almond milk and coconut milk.
Oh, nice, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But Mr. Les, you are awesome. I mean,
Thank
this
you.
is a underserved topic that people need to be more aware of,
Yeah.
and I'm just thinking about
Within,
some people I know. Again, like
mhm.
I said, it's not about just the spouse. People
Yeah.
are growing up with narcissistic parents,
Yes,
and
yes.
they have become suicidal because the way their parents treat them,
Yeah.
or they have to try and be more than great,
Hmm.
to please their parents.
Yeah.
And then they end up in abusive relationships because they
Yeah.
just want someone to love them. So
That's right.
this topic is uh
Well, like I said, if
I'm
you ever want me to put together a workshop on the effects of narcissistic abuse, I'm actually almost every single weekend I put together workshops so that when people
mhm.
come to me, I already have it put together.
Okay.
But I've recently, women have reached out to me and thanked me for coming out and being brave enough to, first of all, acknowledge that I am a person who have been the victim of abuse of narcissistic personality disorder, and
Mhm.
to attach it to how it affects our hormones and be brave enough to come onto the world. Because a lot of things, especially in our community, is very cliche. You hide it, you
Mhm.
don't talk about it. But I don't feel like it's something that should be talked about. I really feel that it's something important that, especially anybody who's gone through that experience, like you said, they're narcissistic parents. We need to
Mhm.
bring awareness so that we can start the healing process. And that's why we're bringing it up. We're bringing it up so that we can seek the help that we need so that
Mhm.
society can become a healthier society to deal with individuals who have this effects based on their own childhood trauma and find a solution to overcome it.
Absolutely. Mind, body, and spirit, right?
100%.
Absolutely. I'm a part of a leadership organization, and we added finances to that trio. Is mind, body, spirit, and finances as
Yes.
well for women who want to get out. We also have a partner platform that helps with finances, building your financial portfolio to the
Yes.
max. People think that being wealthy is just having a lot of money, but that's
No.
not it. So I just want to help people
Mm-hmm.
see, as well
Yes.
as myself, there's some things that I still lack. When you
Mm-hmm.
lose your parents at an early age, no
Mm-hmm.
one's teaching you. You're just
Mm-hmm.
going about the best way you can. And that's
Yeah.
why we developed this platform, Elevate. And I'm hoping to have Celeste on again to elevate the people. That was awesome. I thank you. I know there is way more than that in you.
Yes. Yeah.
This is just one topic. But Celeste is awesome. You guys, please check her out.
Thank
Celeste
you.
London on Facebook. And where else can we find you?
So my website's coming out soon. It's gonna be called, it is thecelestelondon.com, but don't go to it yet. It just says coming soon.
Mhm.
Once it's uploaded and running, I will message you and let you know it's available, and then you can share it with anyone. You can check me out on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm Hello Celeste London. And let me know your Instagram so I can follow you as well.
Okay.
And on TikTok, I'm the Black Hormone Queen, the only one with that name. Because I really love what I'm doing and what I'm sharing, and I see that there's a need in the community for, especially as a Black woman. A Black woman reached out to me and said she's so happy to find a sister who's
Yes.
specializing in this department. Because I did do my research and I didn't find a lot of women who look like me who are specializing in this area when it comes to health.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Again, ladies, that is Celeste London, and I
Thank
am your
you.
girl, Liza Supreme. Okay. If you know anyone who is an up and rising survivor of domestic violence, please check out the pinkdiaryproject.com, where I would love to partner with them so that we could build a community of people with a strong financial background
Yes,
and eventually build safe houses in different communities for those up and rising survivors as well. So there's more to it than that as well. But anyway, thank you again, Celeste. It was so
you're
nice to meet
welcome.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye bye.